Hey folks, this is Syntax over at NAS. I wanted to give you guys a quick preview of what's coming in 2.0.2. We're approaching the release date, so the first half is nearly done, as I had stated in my previous cast. So real quick here, I'll go through a few things that have been changed or added in, and one of the first things you may notice is the tables are no longer free floating in thin air, and also some styling has been added. I just thought maybe this would make it easier for people to, focus on what they were looking at, and so that way it wasn't just all out there in the open. Okay, so if you scroll down a bit, you'll also notice the hash rate for the network has been added as well. And a feature real quick I will show you is the request that came from a community member. And that is to actually show your cumulative balance instead of just local. And now we see unconfirmed as well. And that is pretty useful just to know exactly what you're looking at in one spot in total instead of having to add it yourself. So now I've gone ahead and, mind you, this is a slow machine. I've taken out my API keys so later on I can head over to the settings and show you some new stuff. So right now what I'll do is I'll go into Quick Send. If you notice, it shows your password is necessary to go ahead and send. Now it's just convenient. It disappears after you enter it and lets you send, and updates your wallet status. So what we'll do right now is head over to settings, and you'll immediately notice a few different things there. One is you can now set your default time zone to your local area. Backups, 24 hours. Every 24 hours backups will run, and I've had those enabled for 3 days. So what I'll do is, as you can see, it's backed up since the 24th automatically without me having to go ahead and run it. And the last backup was the 26th. I had disabled it before it's re-enabled. And right here you can see you've got your address book, your aliases, your transaction history, and messages. This way, in the event something should happen, you have backups. Exchange preferences and settings. So, for example, Blue Trade. We all know, if you're, I guess, an avid NEOS follower, that it doesn't really have much volume there. And so sometimes, you don't want to necessarily see that data or have the extra overhead of polling for that data. So you can disable it right there. Now we have Polo and Bittrex enabled, as you can see. So what we'll do is disable Poloniex real quick. Scroll down, save the settings, go back to our dash, and you'll notice that over here it's no longer pushing that info out for Poloniex. We'll go over to Trade, and we'll see that action has actually updated all over. It takes all over. So what I want to do now is go back in there and re-enable them, and then we'll circle over here. Pool information. Now you have the option to put your multi-pool information there, because somebody wanted to actually view the multi-pool stats within the wallet. So now you'll see that you've got the generalized stats, personal stats, and your payout history will be displayed below. Anything else in settings to touch on? Not at the moment. Okay. So I think next what I'll head over to is the updates, the automatic updater. Now, as you can see, there are no current updates. What I will do is head over to the update server, and I will push a new update. Once that's there, we're in our wallet. We don't have to worry or wonder if we're on an old version of the wallet, if we're missing out on a feature, or just something is not current, because what it'll do is actually pull for updates and let you know exactly the number of updates that are there and that they are there. So as you can see right here, we have one update pending. Click that and it'll show you information pertinent to the update and the status will either be new, a modification, or just a general bit of information there in the badge. But the details here just to show you a new feature, showing a new feature. Obviously it's not a real feature added in this because I went ahead and coded in everything already. The file it affects and the update date that it was pushed out. We click update now, and since that is not really a feature, we have to put it in manually. But as you can see, the new feature would have been added. Something else I'd like to just touch on briefly is the tool section. It was a request that we actually provide some tools that aren't built into the wallet, which I'm currently building out now. So if you want to validate an alias or an AS wallet address, put it in there. Validate, invalid. If you want to import a private key, you can put that key here, import it, and now your wallet will contain that key. This is functional, I just don't have a private key to show you. I suppose next we can move on to the trade. Just a minor change that I've included there. I don't have my API keys in there still. Market history, I've increased the number of orders in the history from 20 to 50. Some folks wanted that in there, so it's there. You'll notice one thing too, for example. It'll let you know if your wallet's locked. It won't allow that to happen. And those flash status messages are something that I'm adding in just out of convenience. And I mean, it's good to know exactly what's going on, the result there, instead of having to guess. Okay, so now I'll go overhead to the wallet. And again, you'll notice that the tables are cleaner now. If you go to send, you'll notice two things. One, that arbitrage is gone. And two, that multi-send is there. So again, once you put it in here, unlock it, and now you can send up to 5 different people at the same time, and it'll let you know exactly just the total you're sending, the conversion rates, and so on and so forth. Let's see here. Another new feature is bulk address generation, and this is useful if you'd like to go ahead and just create a bunch of addresses for random purposes to give out to people to protect your privacy and so forth, or just to split it up to 25. You click that, click generate, and then it adds those new addresses to your wallet. Aliases, they've been reduced from 15 nails per alias to 10. I just felt like it. I just don't think we need to charge 15, even though the rate right now isn't so great. But still, people want to use an alias. It shouldn't be that much. If we go over to transactions, we will notice something pretty cool here. This is useful for people in general or merchants and so forth. That's why I put it in here. We can now export our transaction history into Excel, comma separated, or JSON format. So we click export to Excel, hit OK, and now we have a complete export of our transaction history. That works here as well. If you also want to take these transactions, for example, and import this dump into another program or some such, then that's also helpful right there. Your address book now actually contains the ability to search, and let's say you enter something wrong there. See, it validates it for you. Let's say demo address. Add the new address in there. And now if we want to clean it up, we say, alright, we don't really care about sending any coins to him. Hit delete, get rid of it. So that is a majority of what I like to go ahead and demonstrate at the moment. There will be more coming. It's just that I tried to cut down the time on this cast to, the bare minimum for as much as we did show. So if anybody has any questions, as always, feel free to ask. I'm pretty much always around. And if you need a hand, just feel free to reach out, and we'll take care of you. So thank you very much for your time in watching this. I hope the audio quality was much better this time around, and I'll be talking to you soon.